July 1954. A man walks up to customs at Tokyo's Haneda airport. He hands over his passport. The customs officer opens it and stops. The passport looks legitimate. Official stamps, visa entries, everything in order. Except for one problem. The country it's issued from doesn't exist. The passport says the man is from Taured, a country between France and Spain. The customs officers have never heard of it. They pull out a map. Where Taured should be, there's a tiny country called Andorra. The man looks confused. He points at Andorra on the map and insists that's wrong. That's Taured. It's always been Taured. He says it's existed for over 1,000 years. The officers don't know what to do. This man speaks multiple languages fluently. He has currency from several European countries in his wallet. He carries business documents from a legitimate company. He even has previous entry stamps in his passport showing he's been to Japan before. But his passport is from a country that doesn't exist. They search him thoroughly. Everything he's carrying looks real. His driver's license, issued by Taured. His company documents, based in Taured. Bank statements, from a bank in Taured's capital. When officers contact the company he claims to work for, they've never heard of him. The bank he mentions doesn't exist. The man becomes increasingly agitated. He insists he's a businessman who's been traveling to Japan for years. He shows them his passport stamps proving his previous visits. But when authorities check immigration records, there's no record of him ever entering Japan before. None of his documentation matches any database. Airport officials decide to hold him overnight while they investigate. They confiscate his documents and put him in a nearby hotel with 2 guards posted outside his door. They tell him they'll sort this out in the morning. The man reluctantly agrees. The next morning, the guards unlock the door. The room is empty. The man is gone. The door was locked from the outside. The window is sealed and overlooks a busy street several stories below. There's no way out, but he's vanished. When investigators check the documents they'd confiscated the night before, they discover something impossible. The documents are gone too. His passport, driver's license, business papers, currency, all of it, disappeared from a locked evidence room. It's as if the man from Taured never existed at all. So what happened? Decades later, there's still no answer. No missing person reports match his description. No country has ever claimed him as a citizen. Japanese authorities have never explained what they think happened. The case just disappeared into the archives. Some say it was a hoax, an elaborate prank or a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. But if it's a hoax, who was in on it? Airport security, customs officials, hotel staff, the guards, all conspiring to create a story about a man from nowhere? That seems unlikely. Others point to parallel dimensions. The theory goes like this. In our world, Andorra exists between France and Spain. In another parallel reality, Taured exists in the same spot. Somehow, this man slipped through, a glitch between dimensions. He arrived in a world almost identical to his own, but with one key difference. His country didn't exist here. When he realized he was in the wrong reality, maybe he found a way back. Or maybe whatever force brought him here pulled him back automatically. Either way, he vanished just as mysteriously as he appeared, taking all evidence of Taured with him. Skeptics argue the story is nothing more than urban legend. They point out that no official documents from 1954 confirm the incident. No newspaper articles from that time mention it. The story only appeared decades later in books about unexplained mysteries. Maybe it never happened at all. But here's what makes it hard to dismiss entirely. The story has consistent details across multiple retellings. It names a specific airport, a specific year, and specific circumstances. It doesn't feel like a ghost story someone made up around a campfire. It feels like something that was passed down from people who claimed to be there. Japan in the 1950s was still rebuilding after World War II. Record keeping was inconsistent. Immigration controls were tightening as the country reopened to international travel. It's possible an incident like this happened and was either suppressed, lost in bureaucracy, or simply never properly documented. There's also the matter of Andorra itself. It's one of the smallest countries in Europe, a microstate tucked in the Pyrenees Mountains. Most people have never heard of it. If you asked someone in 1954 to point to Andorra on a map, they probably couldn't. So why would someone invent a fake country called Taured in the exact same location? Why not pick somewhere more recognizable? The detail feels too specific to be random. It suggests the story might have some basis in reality, even if the explanation is more mundane than dimension hopping. Maybe the man had forged documents. Maybe he was confused or mentally unwell. Maybe it was an intelligence operation gone wrong. We'll never know. What makes the Taured man so compelling isn't just the mystery of who he was. It's what the story represents. The idea that reality might not be as solid as we think. That somewhere, in some version of the world, Taured exists. That borders and countries and history itself might be more fluid than we realize. In physics, the many worlds interpretation suggests that every decision creates a branching timeline. A universe where you turned left and a universe where you turned right. Both exist simultaneously. If that's true, then somewhere there's a world where Taured is real. Where people grow up speaking Tauredi, pay with Tauredi currency, and live perfectly normal lives in a country that, to us, never existed. And if dimensions can overlap, even for a moment, then maybe the man from Taured really did slip through. Maybe he stood in that airport, terrified and confused, realizing he was in a world that looked almost exactly like home but wasn't. And maybe when no one was looking, he found his way back. The Taured man isn't the only reported case of reality seeming to glitch. There are stories of people remembering historical events differently than they happened, entire groups of people recalling the same false memory, places that exist in photographs but can't be found on any map. Some call it the Mandela effect. Others think it's evidence that our reality isn't as stable as we'd like to believe. Maybe we're all just one wrong turn away from waking up in a world where the borders are different, the history books don't match, and no one knows who we are. If you want to hear about other cases where reality seemed to break, or people who appeared from nowhere and vanished just as quickly, let me know. This is just the beginning.